Welcome to Comic Toy Reviews, and what you're looking at is one of the most in-demand Spider-Man figures of them all in the 6-inch scale, and that's the one in the middle, and that is what fans refer to as the McFarlane Spider-Man. Toy Biz, I think some denied it, say it was J. Scott Campbell inspired, but if anything, Campbell was, in his early Spidey art, aping McFarlane's style. So either way, it is McFarlane. But in truth, it is McFarlane because when you look at the close-up of the eyes, which I'll show, that's how McFarlane drew the eyes. Campbell did not draw the eyes like that. It was McFarlane. It is an expensive figure, anywhere from the $50 to $100 range now. And I'll explain it in a second here. One thing I put was, it doesn't have these web on the arms. This was a first appearance Spider-Man, and I used the extra webbing and put it on this figure, just for a little personal modification. Looking at the eyes right here, it's totally McFarlane. It just looks amazing. Just had to use that word, right? It's a great figure. And this figure uses that same body. This is a darker blue. This is a lighter blue. This came from the Fearsome Foes of Spider-Man. It was like a 5-pack with the Vulture, Rhino, etc. It was a good figure based on this sculpt, but it had an ugly head sculpt, and I didn't like it. So what I did was they had a Spider-Man figure, another one. It's not the same as the McFarlane one, but very similar. And it was the body wasn't good, but the head was good. And so what I did was I took the head off of that Spider-Man figure and I put it on the body of this one for Fearsome Foes, and it looks like a really good Spider-Man also. So it was modified. Again, it was Fearsome Foes Spider-Man, but I switched the head with another version they had to make this one. Both are great. This is darker, this is a little lighter. And Hasbro reissued on their Spider-Man 6-inch line this figure. It's a very dark red and black, not blue, costume. This is the cheapest alternative. What fans have done, they've bought this and repainted the black into blue. That's what they did. Repaint the black into blue for a classic Spidey. This one I like least because Spidey just works better blue. I don't know why Hasbro, instead of just reissuing stuff straight up, have to tinker with it. And usually when they tinker with it, they make it less great than it originally was. And that's the case here. It's not as great as this version and this version, because the black, it's not as appealing. And the face sculpt here, it looks just a little off. Just to me, it doesn't look quite the same. Maybe it's the way the eyes are painted or something. Just looks a little different, the Hasbro one. That's just my view on it, maybe. But it doesn't look spot on the same. Or maybe it's just because of the darker colors. And maybe just compare it here. Maybe for those wanting to compare the eyes. Here it is. Since the articulation is the same, and this is very valuable, and this is, I like it as well. But since the articulation's the same, I'm going to go review the cheap version of it for the rest of this review. The head moves real good, side to side, up and down. You do get some really wild poses you could do with the head. Just so many variations you could do. One thing I like here is also just it's so well articulated. It has some articulation here. That's at the upper body, at the right here. It's pretty stiff on this one, but there is some type of articulation here, even though it don't move too much. And then you got the standard ball joint, which is up and down, in and out, and the bicep cut. Same thing here. And you could see it here, this joint here moving a little bit over there. Spider in the back detail. It has a double articulation point right at the elbows. Single articulation point here. The wrists in and out, but no 360 on the wrist. So in and out, and above the glove here does that 360. All the fingers here, the 4 fingers, each have a different articulation point. Same here. All the 4 fingers each have a different articulation point. One thing that's really great about this Spidey is that he could crouch so well due to this amazing ab crunch. It's so versatile from really up to really down. And when you pose it just right, you could get some great spidery poses out of it. You add in that spidery pose of that, and the lower body is just amazing in terms of articulation, what it could do. Has the ball jointed hips, in and out, up and down, no problem. The cut right above the thigh. Has a double knee articulation. The boot cut right there at the top. Articulation here at the feet, in and out. Toe articulation. It doesn't really have any side-to-side articulation though, surprisingly. That's one thing that could have been done just a little better. But overall, it is just an amazingly articulated action figure. Some people consider this their favorite Spider-Man figure in the 6-inch scale or Spider-Man period. And I can't be far wrong. It definitely is one of my favorite. It could be one of my favorite. I mean, it's just right up there. I know of the Spider-Mans on the main display. It's this one. And as I said, I put the first appearance Spider-Man arm webbing here. If you pose it just right, it looks really, really cool. And it's a really expensive figure, unfortunately. And Hasbro never really did reissue this again. At least with the proper colors. This is the closest you'll get and cheapest version. And that people have repainted. But the reds are darker. And I just think the face sculpt of this one just looks the best. And add it with the articulation and the posing. This is truly one of the best Spider-Man action figures. And this one from the Fearsome Foes with the switching of the heads. This one just looks excellent as well. It's a little different on the eyes, but it just really looks good. So thanks for watching, and talk to you later. Who needs the Avengers? The Spider-Men are on the job.